In this video then we are taking a look at the steering and a few other little bits and bobs that we'll get into now, but before we do, hit the subscribe button and the like stuff and all that good stuff that Meta and everybody else likes. Come here then. Okay, so for the front hub, or for the swivel and basically mounting the front wheels, might be handy. I bought these unit bearings. Get it open. Alright, so that's a unit bearing. That's all one piece, self-sufficient unit bearing for a wheel with a 4-bolt pattern there. I literally just looked on eBay for useful looking things that had this bolt pattern and just looked for one that had got a sort of useful looking end on this side. So we'll make up now something, essentially we need to create a knuckle or a swivel that's going to accept that unit bearing, so something we can bolt that to that then will swivel as well for the steering. So I just need to machine up something that's going to centre off that step there and then take the 4 bolt holes. Making up the swivel then that's going to take that bearing and hub assembly, I've got a bit of this heavy gauge steel which we got from our friends at HEF, fabrication company local to us. They do forestry stuff. And basically what I'm thinking is, obviously the bearing unit will go on there. I'm going to machine the inside diameter to accept the spigot, if you like, that's on the bearing. And then we need 4 flats to weld something on so that we can bolt the bearing down. So the first port of action is to machine 4 flats onto that. So it's not quite square, but roundy square. And that gives us 4 flat points then to machine to weld on something to bolt the bearing housing on. Okay, so there it is, machined into a squarey roundy bit. So those 4 flat spots are going to give me something then to somewhere to weld to, basically to weld some mounting points to pick up off the bearing unit. So the next step now is to machine a couple more flats. So I'm going to stick a flat here on this round and a flat here at the back. And then that will give me somewhere to drill for the swivels. So the swivel points top and bottom. That's the 2 additional flats. So that side there and then the side that's at the bottom machine. So now I'm just going to drill through the centre of there on both sides, tap it, and then that's going to give me somewhere to mount the swivels from. There we go then, both holes drilled. See down there, they just want tapping. We're getting somewhere. I'm going to now machine the inside diameter here because it's slightly undersized so that it accepts that and centres it so that this step sits in there. So I'm going to chuck this on the lathe, machine it out and do that. That's the first step done then. So now we need to go on to this second step, which is 83mm. I need to machine that down more. Yes. Right, just got to machine that second step in there. So that goes in there now, and I just need on these flats to weld something that will pick up off these 4 bolts, and then I can actually bolt it to there, and we've got a swivel. That's my bearing. That's my swivel. That's really warm still. I've got my 4 flats there like that, and what I'm hoping to do is basically weld on some tubes like that. I'll probably cut these down in half because they don't need to be that long. But these are M12 diameter steel tubes, so I'll cut them down, and then I can stick a bolt through, weld these to this, and then stick a cap head bolt down into the threads that are already on the swivel, on the unit bearing, and then that'll bolt that all together. Got my 2 M12 tapped holes here. That will be the top and bottom swivels, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do with them in a minute. Just turn down the ends of the bolts, which are really warm now. Just turn the ends down like that, just so they're giving me a bit more clearance when we assemble this, because it's quite tight. So assembling it then, I can basically, I've got my flats there on the swivel piece, and now I've got those flats onto them, and I can just assemble it like that, flat to flat. I can then put the bolts in and bolt it all down like that, and then all I need to do is weld these to the swivel, which is done. That's the little luggy duggy. Have you got the little luggy duggy, mate? Oh no, I got him. Nice. Alright, all bolted in nice and tight, and that's got it. It's actually wedged it in there, which is nice, which means something's right. So I'm going to drop that in the vise, and I'm basically just now going to weld these to that. Guys. Sweet. I'm just going to weld that up then. Should be done. Again. So you can see, welded little stubs on, and she's nice and warm. So in that orientation now, we've got the threaded bits top and bottom. So if that was on the axle, top and bottom, those are the swivels, which we'll get on to now. swivels then. So done the top and bottom threads because she'll sit like that, and then from yet again the scrap, well not scrap but just the parts bin of stuff we don't use, I've got these rose joints which are from a Can-Am, obviously, like everything else we've got. Another one there with the spacers, and I'm going to use those as the top and bottom ball joints, so we can bolt them in now like that, and then bolt that down, and then that's our top ball joint. Then same on the bottom, and then all we need to do is bolt these to the axle and it'll work. They only really need to move in that direction. They don't need to move up and down because obviously it's not got suspension. So I guess they do a kind of a little bit, but for Ackerman and stuff, but that'll be pretty good. So now I need to connect this to the end of the axle tube. To get that onto the axle tube, we now need somewhere to weld it to. So what we've done on the other side is just cut a piece of box section, an equal length box section, and then tacked it on there like that. So I'm going to do the same sort of thing. It means we can bolt this on, and then once it's on we can sort of shape it and then gusset it back to the tube as well, so it's nice and strong. But that'll be the easiest way of doing it.
Cancel.
Yes. Minus 145 is so marked up the centres. There's actually already holding this one, which is a bonus. Mark that end as well. So I'm going to drill them through for the two rose joints, and then we can bolt that on and then look at getting it tacked on as well. Let's do it. That one's already got a nut on it, so I'm going to chuck a nut on this one. New nuts, not scrap nuts for a change. So I'm roughly just going to put them towards the end actually, somewhere here, so we've got a bit of space. So basically we can do that and that. I'll nip these up here then, not that it matters right now, but I'll nip them. They're threaded so we can adjust our camber because, you know, that matters on a lawnmower. Okay, so then swivelly, that's our steering swivel. So now all we've got to do is weld that end onto there, and that is an axle, in theory. It's like a bloody assault course. A minute. Bolt this into the wheel. Now I've got to weld that on there, and bolt this into the wheel, and that'll help hold it up whilst I align it and everything to try and weld it in. And just make my life easy because that's quite heavy. There we go, so I can sort of just play around with that now and lift the wheel up and down to get it where I want it, so I can tack her in. Got my top of the tube mark, which is there. Centre line, which is there. So I'm just going to stick a tack on that, and then double check it all. Guys. Squareness is actually bang on. What are the odds of that? Which is good. Right. So that's tacked on now, same as the other side. There. And she's all tightened up, which it's not because that top swivels, that top joint's loose. But then we've got steering. Hopefully it never ends up like that. Look. That's cool, surely. So front end will carry its own weight now. She's not fucking right. That's the worst that could happen. Jesus Christ. I give myself a hernia. There we go, it's carrying its own weight again now. That's all tacked in. We're gonna, obviously everything needs fully welding up anyway, but we're gonna tidy up these pieces of box section and then also brace back to the actual tube. And then the tube's just been tacked in there, but there's a good chance that we'll rake it back to get proper half decent steering geometry. And then, like I say, if we wanted to, we could even adjust these joints and get camber and all that good stuff that you really don't need on a lawnmower.
Do that again.
So if we steer right, and we steer left, there may have been a misjudgment. I do want it to be spicy though, so